Coming up on episode 9 of The Good, The Bad, The Teskey, Terrell Owens has found a new home in the NFL. I debate whether David Stern should put an age limit on the players heading over to the Olympics. And I tell you why the Olympics is a spectacle you can't take for granted. All that and more coming up on The Good, The Bad, The Teskey. Welcome to episode 9 of The Good, The Bad, The Teskey. I am Colin Teskey, and thank you for listening. I feel weird saying this, and I really can't believe that this guy is making a return to the NFL. He had a 2-year absence. He's last seen playing for Cincinnati, and it's confirmed that Terrell Owens has signed a 1-year, $1 million deal with the Seattle Seahawks. And this is after he had a stint in the Indoor Football League where he was cut by the Allen Wranglers. And it just showed you that this Terrell Owens character had fallen from grace so far that an indoor football team could not even deal with his ego and his diva mentality that he carried with him to every team he had played for. And I mean, Donovan McNabb witnessed it, one of the top quarterbacks in the game at the time. Only could stay 2 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles before they shipped him out of town. He had a bad relationship in Dallas, especially with Tony Romo, which is surprising because T.O. did truly love Dallas, and he really did love his quarterback.
And if you do that, it's really unfair. It's really unfair. It's my team. It's my quarterback. And if you guys do that, man, it's unfair. We lost as a team. We lost as a team, man.
Yeah, that was a quote that kind of signaled a really weird stretch in Terrell Owens' career. I mean, you really thought this guy was mentally insane when he was spending time with the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. And his stints in Buffalo and Cincinnati were so short-lived, and it seemed like the NFL was tired of Terrell Owens, who, by the way, will never be forgotten because he's really a player that has so much talent. He is second all-time to Jerry Rice for career yards and second all-time in touchdowns and 6th all-time in receptions. So this guy will go down as one of the greatest receivers in the NFL. But there was always that Achilles heel of his personality and his just ego that wanted more and more and more. It didn't matter how many times the ball was thrown his way, he always demanded more. And now Seattle's going to take a chance on this guy. Seattle had a nice young team. Pete Carroll has done a really good job forming that group of young players and getting the best out of a young group that wasn't expected to do very much. Now you're bringing a guy like Terrell Owens. And a lot of people think that this is a move that's going to plague the Seahawks. It can only backfire on them, that this guy has been thrown around the leagues, couldn't even cut it in the Indoor Football League. But if you look at this deal, it's 1 year, $1 million. It's not like they're paying this guy a huge sum of money and that they're wasting their time. This guy, he's already shown them some commitment. I've looked at his times. He ran a 4.45 in the 40-yard dash. He's always kept himself in incredible shape. He's a fitness freak. And if you look at Seattle's receiving core, Doug Baldwin had a breakout year last year, but you've got question marks, right? Sidney Rice has had concussion issues, so there's no real second threat. With Terrell Owens on the field, just his name and his presence is going to attract some defenses, so it could be a good move. I don't think it's a bad move by the Seahawks. You have a big-name receiver there, and they needed to do something to really help that receiving core. And hey, if Terrell Owens cannot see him getting cut by the Allen Wranglers as a kick in the pants and can't get his career going, and he doesn't take this 1 year, $1 million deal seriously, then he will forever be remembered as a bust. And it's his own fault. And it's not like the Seahawks have invested long-term in this guy and are losing a ton of money. $1 million to the Seahawks isn't a lot at the end of the day. Now, moving from Terrell Owens over to the NBA, which is only a natural segue here. It's the best I have so far today. And the comments by Kobe Bryant is what I'm going to bring up. Kobe Bryant a couple weeks ago was talking about David Stern's idea that the next Olympics he would only send the best players from the U.S. under the age of 23. And Kobe Bryant's comments, he didn't hold back. And it seems as though when players The older they get, the less they filter what they say. But I appreciated Kobe Bryant's comments about David Stern's idea. He called it stupid, and then he felt that players should have the choice whether they should play or not, and plain and simple, and should not change their policy on sending the best players to the Olympics. And there's a lot of people who are on both sides of the fence of this issue. Now, let's say that the rule was the best players from the U.S. under the age of 23 got to go over for the U.S. to compete in London. If you look at the crop of talent they have, they would still have a very good squad. They would have the likes of Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, James Harden, Blake Griffin, Anthony Davis. They would still be able to win the gold medal. There's no question about that. I think the amount of talent and the volume of talent in the U.S. is the best in the NBA, and is the best the NBA has ever had. You can't argue that. There are so many great players across the league, and they would have no problem fielding a competitive and strong team to compete in London. Don't get me wrong. But Kobe's right, though. It is stupid for the NBA, who 20 years ago allowed the Dream Team to go over and compete in Barcelona in 1992. And the goal of that Dream Team, which featured Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, all playing on the same team. The beauty of that was that it grew the game globally. And that can be the perfect evidence is what happened in Spain that year. People in Spain flocked to go see these guys. They got to witness them in person, and look at the Spanish national team now. They are probably the second best country to the U.S. in basketball right now. I mean, I'm not saying that the current U.S. Olympic team is going to have that same effect on Great Britain, but it can't hurt the game in Great Britain. I am sure there are many Brits right now that are going to go see Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and be fascinated by these athletes. It'd be something they're not used to. They get to see just how great these guys are up close in person. I think it would be a shame for the NBA to not let the best players go over and play for your country, because that's what the Olympics is all about. It doesn't matter what event you're competing in. You have to send the best athletes that your country has, whether they're 16 years old or they're 35 years old. The best athletes should be competing in the Olympics. That is what the event is all about. Okay, that's the spectacle that the Olympics is. The best athletes in the world are meant for the Olympics. Which brings me to my next topic that I want to bring up. It's something that's been bugging me. It's been kind of building up the last week or so. I don't know why the Olympics isn't taking center stage on sports radio. I really don't. I mean, I turn on my local radio station here, and there's a little bit of Olympic coverage, okay? But I would say under 5%. The rest of it is circling around Tim Tebow and the New York Jets training camp right now. When you look at the Olympics, it only happens every 4 years. Okay, I know a lot of traditional sports fans, they get into a routine where they have certain times of the year where they watch certain sports. And when a new spectacle like the Olympics comes around, it throws off their routine a little bit. But when you look at the Olympics, you got to look at those stories that come out and that unfold. Now look at like Gabby Douglas, for instance, a 16-year-old that just had the event of her life and won a gold medal for the U.S. in gymnastics. You see France upset the U.S. in the 4x100 relay. You know, you have Michael Phelps going for an unprecedented 19 gold medals to break the all-time record and try to become the best Olympian of all time. You know, you have all those storylines, and I don't see why people don't focus on the Olympics and aren't talking about it, because these are athletes that train for 4 years. They train at a high level, and they have one shot. They have one shot to put all that training to good use. And if they fail, they have to wait another 4 years with that kind of misery and that kind of thought in their head. When you look at the sport going on right now in baseball, baseball players have every day to make up for their last mistake. They play 162 games. So there's no dwelling on that mistake. They can just shrug that off, go into the next game, and try to improve. These Olympic athletes have to be so precise, so perfect, and it could be a tenth of a second that causes them to have 4 years of grief and think about, wow, if I had trained that much harder, I could have been a tenth a second ahead of that person in the next lane, and I could have been a world champion. That's why I always watch the Olympics, and that's why I don't get why sports radio and other people aren't watching this. I don't know how you can't get focused into this, and there's only a couple days left. So if you're not already tuned into the Olympics, I suggest you do so, especially tomorrow with the 200-meter final going down and Usain Bolt competing. He's some guy you have to check out as well. we'll have more on the Olympics and the last couple days in London 2012 coming up on some new episodes of The Good, The Bad, The Teskey. And like us at our Facebook page or look at our blog at thegoodthebadtheteskey.wordpress.com. Anyway, guys, thank you for listening. You guys could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be right here listening to the podcast.